So the specific problem that my company is trying to address is, several years ago, even if you look at your own family, maybe your mom and dad had a phone each, right? And there was a telephone at home. Today, if you look at the number of electronic gadgets in your home, look at the electronic gadgets you yourself might have. You perhaps have a Game Boy at home. You perhaps have a television set in your family room. Your parents obviously have phones. You may have some other equipment in the house that's also digital. All these want to talk to each other. As they talk to each other, the amount of data that needs to be processed inside them is really increasing, right? For example, people want to do Facebook or Square on their phones today. That is a lot of video traffic that needs to be exchanged between these devices. Now, think about silicon and how people used to do the design of silicon. And let's compare that to a small village that existed and that had little streets running around. So there were very few people living in that village. So the streets were sufficient. They were enough to actually, happily let people commute over there. As that little village became bigger, it became into a little township. Then it became a bigger city. What happened is that the number of cars on it, the number of people in there increased. So what happened is that the cities started getting freeway systems. Then they actually started getting highways. And then the highways started getting metering lights on them so that you could regulate the traffic so there was no deadlock and you were just not sitting in the car for hours together. Exactly the same phenomenon is happening in silicon design today. The amount of data that needs to move around there is exploding. And it requires a very mathematical and very smart solution to figure out how you build a very efficient highway system on silicon. And my company is trying to solve that problem. So in my company, I actually have 4 mathematicians that are helping solve this issue. They take that information, give it to the engineers who then implement it onto this piece of silicon that we are building.